Hello everyone, my name is Zachary Basil. And first, I want to thank you for taking some time to watch my presentation today. What I'm going to be talking about today is something that I believe is extremely relevant to us and to our future. And that is the rising cost of higher education and its impact on student academic performance. Let's start with a list of objectives that I will be looking to achieve today. First, I want to give you an overview of the issue so that you can understand where it's coming from and can know a little bit about the problem before we move forward. After that, I will share 3 significant findings from the literature that I believe say a lot about this current problem. After that, we will have some time for areas of concern. Then, I want to give you my own analysis of the issue. Finally, we can talk about some future implications of the problem. First, let's start with the overview. While many of you may realize that the financial cost of higher education is continuing to rise at a rapid rate, some of you may not know that it's actually significantly outpacing inflation. According to a U.S. News report in 2018, in the last 20 years, public school in-state tuition and fees are up 243%, while public school out-of-state tuition and fees are up 200%. And private school tuition fees are up 168%. Meanwhile, consumer price index is only up 51% in the same 20 years. What does this mean? This means that the rising cost of higher education is outpacing inflation by, in some cases, more than 4 times. This has caused student loan debt to soar and has created a bigger burden for students. As such, it has led some scholars to theorize that it may be harming student academic performance. If this is indeed the case, it means higher education will need to do a lot more to help students align their academic goals with their financial capabilities. Next, let me share 3 interesting findings with you that I believe say a lot about the issue. Number 1, many researchers have found that between 9 and 40% of students report that financial stress is harming their academic performance. Next, studies have also found that financial burden may hurt academic goal commitment. This means that many students may be facing a financial burden that is so high that they may not be able to commit to their GPA goals or even commit to graduating and finishing university altogether. Finally, one study found that students who were worried about paying for college averaged 4.5% lower in their class grades than students who were not worried. And for those who reported that financial stress influenced their academic performance, had class grades that were 6.6% lower on average than those who did not. And lastly, I do want to say that although existing literature has produced these significant findings, more research needs to be done to paint a more clear picture. Analysis. So, as I just mentioned in the previous slide, existing literature so far has shown some evidence that academic performance is being hindered by the rising cost of higher education in the following areas. First, academic goal commitment. students are having a difficulty with academic goal commitment. Next, grades. Grades are starting to become an issue as well. The higher cost of higher education may be influencing grades, although more research needs to be done on this. Next, the rising cost of higher education, many scholars suggest, is increasing stress on students. While stress in and of itself may not always be a negative thing, in many cases it is, and if this isn't the case, then it may be affecting student academic performance. So to totally confirm this, more research will need to be done. Next, the problem may become larger. As the cost of higher education increases to rise, one can only assume that the problem will indeed become larger. Finally, as I've mentioned several times already, more research needs to be done. Areas of concern. Students may be more concerned with a high salary than following their passion, as money starts to become more important. Next, students may become distracted from their studies with the need to work part-time or full-time to support themselves. Then, in some cases, students may delay their education or even opt to forgo it altogether. And finally, again, I want to point to a lack of research. Let's talk a little bit about some potential future implications because of this. Number one, more research. And I know I've said this several times already, but I want to stress again and again that more research will need to be done to paint a clear picture of what's happening. Next, more training for advisors, counselors, and administrators. If this is indeed happening, what this means is that advisors, counselors, and administrators need more training to support students who may be having financial difficulties with completing their university degree. Next, student-parent financial seminars and workshops would be a great idea to teach students and parents alike on how they can handle their finances and have a pathway to completing their degree. In the end, you can see a list of my references here, and I strongly encourage everyone to take a deeper look into the issue. And again, I would like to thank you for taking some time to listen to me give this presentation on the rising cost of higher education and its impact on student academic performance. Thank you very much, and I hope you have a really good day.